You may be able to avoid invasive back surgery and drugs with a call to Powell Chiropractic. Innovators in chiropractic care for nearly 50 years, the doctors at Powell have created the Discovery system of care for those suffering disc problems, developed with advanced technologies not offered by most chiropractors. Avoid surgery and dangerous drugs. Call today for a free consultation and preliminary exam. The only thing you have to lose is the pain. Powell Chiropractic Clinic, located on Munson Street Northwest in Belden Village, and visit us online at powellchiropractic.com.
From the time that I was very young, I wanted to grow up and be a gymnast. It was my passion and my dream, and so I competed for 13 years. I competed in multiple national competitions and really just developed a true love for the sport. Unfortunately, in my freshman year of high school, I started developing back pain. And this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill aches and pains. I knew that there was something seriously wrong. So I came to Powell Chiropractic and they ordered an MRI, and unfortunately the MRI showed that I had 6 bulging discs in my back and decided to undergo spinal decompression therapy. It was something that I truly look forward to coming to every day. I would attend spinal decompression 3 days a week, and every time I came in I was so excited because it was so relaxing and it was so comforting, and the pain was much less than it was when I first got there. So I really enjoyed coming to my appointments and really receiving that treatment. So while I was undergoing the treatment, I wasn't participating in any sports. I was not able to do any physical activity to help my spine truly recover. But upon the completion of my treatment, I was so ready to go back to gymnastics. So I set back and started competing that following year. But unfortunately, soon after I started competing, the pain returned. So after consulting with Dr. Jim, we decided to get another MRI. And unfortunately, it confirmed my worst nightmares. All of my injuries had returned, and this time I had another injury with my sacroiliac joint injury, which truly meant that I was done. Having a life dream of being a collegiate gymnast comes with a certain expectation of receiving a way to pay for your college education. When my gymnastics career ended, I was no longer able to rely on any sort of scholarship for my gymnastics abilities, so I started looking for ways to pay for college. I went to Miss Ohio that first year, didn't place in the top 10, so decided to go back the following year. I competed 3 times as a dancer, but upon my 3rd time competing at Miss Ohio, the injuries that I had sustained from when I was a gymnast were starting to recur, and I could tell because the pain was the same. So I talked to Dr. Jim, and he made the recommendation that I quit dancing. This was a week before I left to go to Miss Ohio, so I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna go, I'm gonna try one more time. And unfortunately, I was 3rd runner-up that year. Faced with the difficult decision of whether or not I was going to continue competing, I decided to learn how to play the piano. So the 4th and 5th years of competing at Miss Ohio, I played the piano, which was totally something new and unexpected. But my 5th year at Miss Ohio, I was able to walk away with the title and the talent award as well. Every contestant in the Miss America organization has a personal platform for which she advocates. Mine is titled Athletics Today, a Lifetime of Tomorrows. It really stems from my experience as an athlete. I had my dream set on becoming a collegiate gymnast and grew up with my entire identity placed in my athletic ability. When I was no longer the gymnast, I suffered from months of depression and a self-identity crisis. Powell Chiropractic did more than just restore my health. They truly were my family through all of my life's challenges and obstacles. They were the ones that picked me up when I was down, and not just figuratively. Truly, they were always the ones that were there to support me and give me encouragement and encourage me to continue to follow my dreams. I have truly no words to thank them for everything that they have done. They have provided love and kindness, and they believed in me before I was able to believe in myself. No matter where I am in Ohio, Dr. Jim will always be my doctor, and he will always be there to truly make sure that I am at the top of my game and that my spine is always aligned, because Powell Chiropractic has always got my back.
main reason I started coming was my daughter was having problems becoming pregnant, and she came, and after 3 months with Dr. Roberts being on supplements and that, her and her husband both, she became pregnant on their own. And I was actually having some problems with my chest, and so that's what started me coming. Okay. I feel like it's just transformed everything as far as just my activity and just how good I feel, and yeah, it's just changed everything. One of the main things that struck me when I had heard Dr. Powell mention manufactured foods was just everything that we consume being manufactured, and just to go natural and just to eat healthy, and it changes everything. I lost 12 pounds coming when I first started. I've gotten an allergy shot for 30 years every April. This is the first year since I've been coming that I haven't had to get an allergy shot because of the supplements I'm on. I told my wife I'm never going to live that way and just live on medication or listening to what my doctor has to say, because there's a better alternative for sure. And that's what Dr. Robert proved to me and has shown me. I've been coming for 10 months now, and it's changed my life.
My wife and I started coming here over 10 years ago. She was pregnant at the time, and we had heard really good things about chiropractic with women who are pregnant. And I decided to come here too because I've lifelong athlete and played college sports and whatnot, and just the wear and tear of everyday life just kind of had me down with working out and stuff too. So I started coming here, and I've been coming ever since. I was experiencing some major lower back pain actually the last few years, and I was introduced to the Discovery program, started doing it. My back was very weak, I would say last fall, when about a year ago, and it was amazing how strong my back felt every single session. And now the strength shows on the charts, and I feel better too. The staff here is just amazing. Everybody's here for the same reason. Everybody has the same goal of true overall health, and that's just comforting, knowing that they not only want to help you out, but they'll be honest with you as well, and I love that.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Powell, and today we're going to talk about the Med-X, the exercise equipment that we have on our second floor to help you strengthen your spine. The spinal rehab program has been available to patients at Powell Chiropractic clinics since 1980, so we've been using this program for quite a long time. What we've identified in those 40 years of exercising patients is the stronger you are, the better you are. And so that applies to the muscles of your body, but also to your immune system and every other system that you have in your body. As you can see in this slide, the muscles of the neck attach to the skull, the jaw, the collarbones, and the shoulder. Those are the big muscles of the cervical spine. In the neck, the stabilizers are not only those big muscles, but the muscles in between the bumps of your spine. As you can see in a whiplash injury, which can happen in a fall or in a car accident, as the neck is brought forward, you can see in the slide how those tissue, that small muscle in between the bumps of your spine, can tear. It can tear in the front, it can tear in the back. Either way, it makes that area unstable. The big muscles of your neck, you will actually stabilize and strengthen by you doing some of your normal life. Those small ones in between the bumps of your spine, even if you are very active, you won't change those unless you isolate that area. As you can see, the muscles of the lumbar spine, the big muscles attach to the pelvis. So the legs, the stomach, the buttocks, that all attaches to the pelvis. The small muscles in between the bumps of your low back are the ones that we want to address. In a low back injury, you injure the big muscles of your spine and the small muscles of your spine most commonly. The big muscles of your back, you do have the opportunity of strengthening on your own. You being active, working out in the gym, doing a lot of different things, you can. The small muscles in between the bumps of the spine, however, are far more difficult to strengthen. As you can see in that slide, the muscles that are green, the ones that attach from the base of your skull all the way down to your pelvis, are the big extensor groups. Those are the groups that you do commonly strengthen in the gym. The ones that we're about to show you are the ones that you won't strengthen in the gym without a specific piece of equipment. As you can see, the muscles between the bumps of your spine have lots of names. We're not going to quiz you on those names of those muscles, just know that they exist. Those muscles are very difficult to isolate. We found a piece of equipment that does do that for not only the neck, but the back. What you're looking at now is the lumbar Med-X machine. Its entire purpose is to stabilize that pelvis so that when you push back with your back, you are not moving the pelvis, therefore isolating the small muscles between the bumps of your spine. As you can see in the test, the patient is pushing back against the pad, and he gradually pushes from a small push to his maximum effort and then eases back off. We ask you to please do this in your test so that you don't have a jerking motion or injure anything that's already sensitive. The range of motion in the lumbar spine, she's going to establish to make sure that he has full range of motion and test the strength in each one of those positions. Now, when the time comes to do some exercises of this machine, it is called isodynamic. An isodynamic exercise is where we still have you pinned, where you can't move your pelvis. We put some weight on the machine and you're pushing back with your back against a specific designed weight. We're going to try to have you do 20 repetitions on this machine, and that'll be sufficient to get that session completed. Typically we do 6 exercise sessions with a reevaluation to determine where your strength is. Provided that you're increasing in strength, we'll continue the program. As you can see, we also have the cervical machine. It's very unique as well. It isolates by pushing the shoulders back and down. It just gets the small muscles in between the spinal segments of your neck. It gives us the ability to test isometrically and then strengthen isodynamically. So one of the things that's asked quite a bit by our patients is how long is the results going to last? With 40 years of exercise under our belt, what we've figured out in that time frame is that there are 2 groups of patients that go through this machine. 80% of the population will retain the strength that they achieve of their neck or their back, provided that they didn't have an additional injury come about. 20% of the population, even if they didn't have an injury, will lose their strength. What we've discovered is that in a chiropractic aspect, after the results have been achieved, your chiropractor will indicate or prescribe for you to get an adjustment periodically, maybe once a month. For the folks that have 20% of the population, meaning that they lose the strength of their neck or their back even after they've achieved it on this machine, an exercise is provided to them along with that monthly adjustment as a maintenance program. And that's how you can maintain what is that you've achieved if you happen to be a 20% of the population. The way that we identify whether you're an 80% or a 20% is we retest your strength a few months later to see if you lose your strength. If you do, it would be wise for you to do an exercise once a month. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. It helps us help you when you're more knowledgeable. Physician in Latin means teacher, not doctor. Our job is to teach you about you so that you know what is it that you need to do for you.
Ellie had been army crawling for a while, and then when she started crawling, she never correctly crawled. She crawled like she was still kind of sitting up. And then she started taking steps when she was about 8 months old, and started walking on my husband's birthday. And like I said, she didn't crawl correctly. She crawled like with one leg underneath her. And when she walked like a cowboy. She walked sideways, and I felt something was wrong. I took her to our pediatrician. They said that it was normal developmentally, that we could wait to see if it improved, and then if it doesn't, get her to a physical therapist. My concern with her was that it was going to crook her back, crook her neck, something, and just the fact that she wasn't walking evenly just didn't make me feel comfortable for how a toddler should be developing. Definitely skeptical about the laser, but within seconds she went from her cowboy sideways walk to a normal straight on walk. Like, it was a miracle, and it wasn't just while she was being treated. She would walk straight at home, and every time it was better. She also went from waking up a lot at night and taking horrible naps to actually sleeping, and just overall seemed like a much happier and more content baby. So, I mean, bringing her here was awesome, and I'm grateful for it. And all the staff, they were all amazing with her.
Hello, my name is Dr. James Powell. I'm a second-generation chiropractor at Powell Chiropractic Clinic, and I'd like to discuss some options to boost your immune system. There's a program that Standard Process has put together. The creator of that program is Dr. Royal Lee. Dr. Royal Lee created Standard Process almost 90 years ago. He's been utilizing this formula to benefit patients' immune systems for almost 70 years. This formula is pretty simple. There are two aspects or two options that you can do. One that you can use your own foods at home. Another one is to purchase supplementation to add to your already good healthy diet. Dr. Royal Lee was quoted in saying, one of the biggest tragedies of human civilization is the precedence of chemical therapy over nutrition. It's the substitution of artificial therapy over the natural. That was in 1951. If we go back in time to 1951, the antibiotics and a lot of the therapies that we're using today to treat problems weren't available to that degree. Certainly way more now than it was then. He's talking about food, treating people naturally with food. The nervous system is the master system, controls all other systems. If you're trying to boost your immune system, which we'll talk about just briefly, the immune system is made up of organs and glands. What tells those organs and glands to operate is the brain, and how the brain tells those organs and glands how to function is through the nerves that come out of the spinal segments. As you can see in this video, the brain has the impulses that come down the spinal column. They come out each individual nerve root into every gland, organ, muscle, and cell. This information from the brain to your organs explains to the organ how to function and how to operate. If the communication is broken down between the brain and the organ won't function to the same level that it's necessary to handle whatever threat has come in. As we've already talked about, the immune system is made up of organs and glands, but they have to work synergistically together. How that operates is that each organ has a specific role or a specific part. Each of those parts work together. When they're all working together is when your body has the ability to fight threats, viruses, bacteria, protozoa, yeast. All these invaders that come into your system are all attacked by the same system in your system. It's a naturally occurring system. It's called the immune system. This system fights for you. How it fights is it finds the viruses, it finds the bacteria, and it attacks them. It encases them and digests them. For an example, when you're taking an antibiotic for, let's say, a strep infection, the antibiotic tags the outside of the strep, keeps it from multiplying, but the antibiotic doesn't kill the strep. The antibiotic stops the strep from multiplying, and then your own body's immune system engulfs the strep, eats it, and destroys it. Don't wish that these threats, these invaders, were weaker. wish that you were stronger. So ways that you can make yourself stronger so that you can fight this good fight for your health. This immune system is the only way to do it. You boost your immune system, you boost your strength. Dr. Roy Lee, which I introduced you to a few minutes ago, came up with the triad. The real interesting component of the triad is that if you can envision an equilateral triangle, each point of the triangle serves a purpose to support the other angles. So calcium lactate, Cataplex F, Cataplex C are nutritional supplements from Standard Process. They are from foods. So if you want to try and boost your immune system with your own foods, your own diet, you can do that using the same formula. Calcium is an interesting component. Calcium serves as the engine of your immune system. Calcium bicarbonate is what is found in our bloodstream and in our bodies in a usable form. There are other forms of calcium. Your bones are calcium phosphorus. It's not soluble in water. It's not soluble in the body. Calcium lactate, calcium citrate in the body is soluble in blood, but it's not activated. Calcium bicarbonate is the only source of calcium that your body can use to help your immune system fight. It'll be abbreviated in some of the texts or some of the slides that you see where it says Ca++. Calcium bicarbonate is calcium Ca++. Two of the main sources of calcium, one is foods and the other was supplementation. The food source, you have kale, broccoli, asparagus, your dark green leafy vegetables. These are a wonderful source of calcium in an organic form. You can have commercially grown kale not contain the level of calcium or the level of nutrients that you're going to need, so you have to purchase these foods in an organic source. The supplementation is an organic source, so you can be rest assured that you're getting the highest quality source of calcium, either in an organic source that you buy yourself or in a supplementation source that you purchase from Standard Process. The food sources of calcium, and calcium is an interesting component. So when you take calcium carbonate, which is commonly found in the front of most buildings in sidewalk cement, that's calcium carbonate for the most part. Your body has the ability to convert calcium carbonate rocks into usable calcium. It takes 12 biochemical steps to do so. Your stomach has to be in an acid environment, and your body has to have the ability to digest and absorb, but it will do it. But the amount that you would convert into calcium bicarbonate, you'd need quite a bit of calcium carbonate to get a usable source. The plants put their roots in the soil. When the roots go into the soil, they're after the minerals. It pulls the calcium carbonate out of the soil, converts it in the plant. It does 10 biochemical steps for you, and then it converts it to what's called calcium lactate. Calcium lactate, then if you were to consume it, takes 2 biochemical steps to go to calcium bicarbonate. So if you're going to take calcium, you need to take it in a food source form, not sidewalk cement. Calcium bicarbonate, Ca++, is ionized. Now that means something to a lot of people, maybe not to all, but an ionized calcium means it's charged. When the calcium's charged, especially with 2 ions, it's more attracted to the neutrophils and the macrophages in your white blood cells. Now, interesting thing about calcium, like I said earlier, it is the motor of your immune system. The white cells, the neutrophils and the macrophages cannot move if calcium is not present. Just like your own muscles or even your heart, if you were to become severely deficient in calcium, you can cause yourself a heart attack. It stops movement. So the movement of these bacteria to find these viruses and to find these protozoa and bacteria requires calcium. So you can almost say that calcium is like a laser-guided missile for your immune system, helps the immune system find the threats. Another thing that calcium does for the neutrophils and the macrophages, our white blood cells, is it allows them the ability to encompass the virus and digest it. So you won't have a proper working immune system without calcium. So once again, if we have to go back to food is the best source. Cataplex F is manufactured from organic flaxseed and organic wheat germ. And both of those oils are a vital component in your immune system. Vitamin C. Everybody understands the vitamin C in boosting your immune system. Some of the food sources that we're familiar with in regards to vitamin C is our citrus foods. Citrus is a great source, don't get me wrong, it's not the best. A greater source of vitamin C is found in vegetables. And one of those vegetables is buckwheat leaf juice and seed. So standard process takes buckwheat leaf juice and seed, processes it at a very low temperature to preserve the complex aspect of vitamin C. And back to that equilateral triangle, vitamin C is critical in protecting your fatty amino acids. So each piece of the triangle protects the other. Dr. Lee had the idea that protecting each one of these components would give the body a greater resource to boosting the immune system. And protecting vitamin C, protecting calcium, and protecting your fatty amino acids was very critical and has proven to be very effective. Wouldn't have been used for 70 years if it wasn't effective. The triad of health. Each one of these aspects hold significance to boosting your immune system, especially during trying times. These threats, we're becoming more and more aware of them. Your body has been fighting these threats since the beginning of time. The nutritional supplementation that you can receive from Standard Process is far easier method to get this nutrition in. You would need bushels of whole food, organic nutrition on a regular basis to do the same job. Please contact our clinic. We'll do everything we can to make sure that we can get these products in your hands as quickly and as efficiently as possible. I thank you for your time.
I actually had been a patient of Dr. Roberts for probably 2 years before my husband and I decided we wanted to expand our family. And I had just been struggling with hormonal imbalance and with fatigue. And so Dr. Robert had, prescribed supplements for me, and I was starting to feel better. But I was always kind of worried that when the time came that we would struggle just because of the hormonal imbalance. When my husband and I decided that we were going to start a family, Dr. Robert had me start monitoring my body temperature, so I tracked them with a thermometer first thing in the morning, and he prescribed some specific whole food supplements. I had been taking supplements prior to trying to get pregnant, so that when he prescribed specific supplements to help me get pregnant, I think my body was already, pretty healthy, and we were able to conceive within 3 months. And then about 9 months ago, Addie was born at home and had a very healthy pregnancy, relatively easy labor and delivery. And I definitely attribute all of that to the whole food supplements that Dr. Robert prescribed. I have been breastfeeding Addie, so he's been giving me different supplements to help her, specifically with teething, and if she has any, gastrointestinal distress, there's stuff that he can give me to help keep her healthy and happy. I can't recommend Powell Chiropractic highly enough, especially for anyone who's currently pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant. It's just a wonderful place to help make sure that you have the healthiest pregnancy for yourself and your children.
You may be able to avoid invasive back surgery and drugs with a call to Powell Chiropractic. Innovators in chiropractic care for nearly 50 years, the doctors at Powell have created the discovery system of care for those suffering disc problems. Developed with advanced technologies not offered by most chiropractors. Avoid surgery and dangerous drugs. Call today for a free consultation and preliminary exam. The only thing you have to lose is the pain. Powell Chiropractic Clinic, located on Munson Street Northwest in Belden Village, and visit us online at powellchiropractic.com.